Welcome back to School of Joy, where we, break down some of these complex topics and hopefully make them as easy to understand as your favorite teacher did.
Right.
So today we are diving into the fascinating world of human sexuality from an evolutionary perspective.
Oh, yeah.
So get ready to have your assumptions challenged.
It's true. When you start comparing humans to the rest of the animal kingdom, our approach to sex and relationships, it really stand out.
Let's start with some examples from the animal world.
Okay.
You've got elephant seals, where the biggest males fight for control over a group of females.
Right.
Then there are these marsupial mice, where the males actually die after a single crazy intense mating season.
Wow.
And let's not forget orangutans, who mostly live solitary lives and only get together briefly to mate.
Yeah, those are great examples of how diverse mating strategies can be in the animal world.
Right.
And they highlight just how unusual human practices like long-term relationships and shared parenting really are.
It makes you wonder what evolutionary pressures led humans down this different path.
Exactly. One key takeaway here is the importance of pair bonding in humans.
Okay.
It's not just about mating, it's about creating a stable environment for raising offspring which require an extended period of care.
And that long-term care usually involves both parents, right?
Right. Biparental care is
Yeah.
a hallmark of human reproduction, and it's likely tied to the fact that human babies are born relatively helpless and require a tremendous amount of attention and resources to survive.
So it seems like human evolution favored cooperation and long-term investment in a smaller number of offspring rather than just maximizing the quantity of offspring like we see in some other species.
Precisely. And this brings us to another fascinating aspect of human sexuality, the battle of the sexes, which, as you know, is more than just a catchy phrase.
Okay, let's break down this battle.
Okay.
You're saying males and females have different evolutionary strategies, right? Different goals when it comes to reproduction?
Think about it from a purely biological perspective.
Okay,
For a male, reproductive success often means fathering as many offspring as possible.
right.
This can lead to behaviors that prioritize mating over parenting.
But for females, it's different because they invest so much more in each offspring from pregnancy to breastfeeding.
Exactly. The female's investment is much higher, so her strategy often involves being more selective about mates and ensuring that her offspring receive the care they need to survive.
This makes me think about the question of why men don't breastfeed. Is that even biologically possible?
It might surprise you to learn that men actually have the capacity to lactate.
Really?
With the right hormonal stimulation, they can produce milk.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah.
So why didn't this evolve as a common trait? It seems like it could be beneficial for both parents to share the burden of feeding.
It's all about evolutionary trade-offs.
Okay,
While male lactation could offer benefits in some situations, it would also come at a cost.
right.
For example, milk production requires significant energy and resources.
Uh-huh.
If males are already investing energy in other ways, like providing food and protection, adding lactation to the mix might actually reduce their overall reproductive success.
So it's not simply that male lactation is better or worse. It's about what works best within a particular species' overall reproductive strategy.
That's a great way to put it, and it highlights the fact that evolution doesn't always lead to perfect solutions. It just favors what's good enough to pass on genes to the next generation.
Speaking of evolutionary quirks, let's talk about menopause. Why do women stop reproducing when they still have so much life ahead?
That's a question that has puzzled evolutionary biologists for a long time. One of the most compelling explanations is the grandmother hypothesis.
Okay, what's the main idea behind that hypothesis?
The grandmother hypothesis suggests that older women, even though they're no longer having children themselves, play a crucial role in the survival and success of their grandchildren.
Okay.
They can provide childcare share knowledge and even contribute researches, ultimately boosting the reproductive success of their descendants.
So instead of continuing to reproduce directly, older women invest their energy in supporting the next generation, which in turn helps pass on their genes. It's a fascinating example of how evolution can favor indirect contributions to reproductive success.
Exactly, and it challenges the idea that reproductive value is solely tied to the ability to bear children.
Are there any real-world examples that illustrate this grandmother effect?
Absolutely. There's a documented case from Rendell Island where an elderly woman who had survived a devastating cyclone decades earlier possessed vital knowledge about famine foods.
Wow.
This knowledge proved essential for the survival of her community during a later crisis.
Her experience and wisdom literally saved lives.
Yeah.
That's a powerful example of how older women can contribute to their communities in ways that go far beyond direct reproduction.
It really emphasizes the idea that menopause, rather than being a decline, might be a strategic shift in a woman's role, allowing her to focus on ensuring the survival of her genetic legacy through her descendants.
It's incredible how evolution can lead to such seemingly counterintuitive adaptations that ultimately benefit the survival of a species. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about how our bodies have evolved to send signals about ourselves.
That's another fascinating aspect of human evolution.
Yeah.
We've developed a complex system of physical traits that convey information about our age, sex health, and even social status.
Okay, let's start with the basics. Men and women have obvious physical differences. Things like body size, muscle mass, facial hair, and breath development.
Right.
These are pretty clear signals of sex and maturity.
Right. Those are the most obvious ones. But there are also more subtle signals.
Okay.
Take facial features, for example.
Uh-huh.
A symmetrical face is often perceived as more attractive.
Why is that?
Symmetry is thought to be a sign of good health and good genes.
Okay.
It suggests that an individual has developed well with minimal disruptions during development.
So it's like our bodies are subconsciously advertising our genetic fitness through these physical traits.
Exactly. Now, there are a few key theories that attempt to explain how these signals evolved.
Okay.
We have Fisher's runaway selection, Zahavi's handicap principle, and the truth in advertising model.
Okay, those are some intriguing names. Let's break them down one by one. What's Fisher's runaway selection all about?
Imagine a scenario where a female bird is attracted to males with longer tails. Over time, this preference can lead to males evolving increasingly longer tails, even if those tails become somewhat impractical.
So it's like a fashion trend in the animal world,
Yeah,
where the more exaggerated the trait, the more attractive it becomes.
that's a good analogy.
Okay.
Now, Zahavi's handicap principle suggests that costly traits like a peacock's tail actually signal genetic quality because they're costly.
Wait, so having a disadvantage can actually be an advantage when it comes to attracting mates. That seems counterintuitive.
The idea is that only the fittest individuals can afford to survive and thrive despite carrying a costly handicap.
Okay.
It's like saying, look at me, I can survive even with this giant impractical tail. I must have amazing genes.
That's a fascinating concept. So how does the truth in advertising model fit into all of this?
The truth in advertising model focuses on traits that are directly beneficial to survival and are therefore honest signals of an individual's fitness. Think of a deer's antlers.
Okay.
They're costly to grow, but they help males fight for mates and defend themselves.
So unlike the peacock's tail, which might be more about showing off the deer's antlers, are a signal that honestly reflects the animal's strength and ability to survive.
Exactly. And when we apply these theories to humans, we see that we have plenty of signals that fit the bill, from muscle mass to facial symmetry to, well, let's just say men have some intriguing signals that have sparked quite a bit of debate.
Intriguing signals, huh? I think I know where you're going with this. We're talking about penis size, aren't we?
You caught me. It's a sensitive topic, but it's a question that has fascinated scientists and, well, pretty much everyone else for a long time. Why do men have such large penises compared to other primates? And is it an honest signal of virility directed at women, a dominance display for other men, or both?
Those are $1 million questions, and I'm sure the answers are anything that's simple.
You're absolutely right. The evolution of penis size in humans is a complex issue, and there are multiple factors at play. What's fascinating is that the human penis is significantly larger than that of our closest ape relatives, gorillas and orangutans, even though they are much larger in body size.
So it seems like size does matter, at least from an evolutionary perspective. But who is this signal aimed at, men or women?
That's where the debate gets interesting.
Okay.
Some scientists believe that penis size is primarily a signal for women, a way of attracting mates.
Okay.
Others argue that it's more about male competition, a visual display of dominance, much like the antlers on a stag.
I can see both sides of that. In the animal world, we often see males using exaggerated features to intimidate rivals. But human mating is so complex. Surely women's preferences play a role as well, right?
Absolutely. It's likely that both factors have contributed to the evolution of penis size in humans.
Okay.
It could be a signal that serves multiple purposes, just like the elaborate plumage of a bird of paradise.
So it might be both a weapon and a decoration, playing a role in both competition and attraction.
That's a great way to put it. And it highlights the interplay between biology and behavior in shaping human sexuality. However, it's important to remember that these signals, from penis size to facial symmetry, are just one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
Human mating is influenced by a whole range of factors, from cultural norms to individual preferences.
That's a good point. We're not just robots programmed by our genes. We have the capacity to make choices, to override our instincts, to form relationships based on more than just physical attraction.
Precisely. But even those choices, those preferences, are shaped to some extent by our evolutionary history. It's a fascinating interplay between nature and nurture biology and culture.
Right.
And that's what makes human sexuality such a complex and intriguing subject.
It seems like we've uncovered a lot of interesting insights today. Let's take a moment to recap some of the key takeaways for our listeners in School of Joy.
Okay.
We've seen how human sexuality stands apart from other animals characterized by long-term pair bonding, significant paternal investment, and a capacity for sex for pleasure, not just procreation.
And we explored the concept of the battle of the sexes, where males and females have evolved different strategies to maximize their reproductive success.
Right.
We also delved into the mystery of menopause, challenging the assumption that it represents a decline. Instead, it could be viewed as a strategic shift, allowing women to contribute to their genetic legacy by supporting their descendants.
And then we examined the subtle and not-so-subtle ways our bodies communicate information about ourselves, from facial symmetry to, yes, even penis size.
Right.
These signals, often operating below our conscious awareness, advertise our genetic fitness and play a role in attracting mates.
It's true.
So why does all of this matter? Why should we care about the evolutionary roots of human sexuality?
Because understanding our evolutionary past can shed light on our present. It can help us understand the motivations behind our behaviors, the dynamics of our relationships, and the choices we make about mating and parenting.
It's like having a key to unlock the secrets of human behavior. By understanding our evolutionary heritage, we can gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and the people around us.
Exactly. And that knowledge can be empowering.
Okay.
It allows us to question societal norms, to make informed choices about our own sexuality, and to appreciate the incredible diversity of human mating strategies.
It's not just about individual choices either. This knowledge has implications for society as a whole, right?
Absolutely. Understanding the evolutionary roots of human sexuality can inform our policies on everything from childcare to reproductive rights to gender equality.
So it's not just about sex. It's about understanding the fundamental forces that shape our families, our communities, our world.
Precisely. It's about seeing ourselves as part of a larger evolutionary story, a story that weaves together biology, behavior, and culture.
We talked a lot about how concealed ovulation, the fact that women don't outwardly signal when they're fertile, might have evolved to protect women and their infants from potentially infanticidal males.
Right.
But haven't there been other consequences for human relationships as a result of this adaptation?
That's a great point. It's fascinating to consider how this one evolutionary quirk has shaped the dynamics between men and women.
Imagine if women did advertise their ovulation, like many other mammals. How might that change our mating behaviors, our social structures, our very understanding of love and commitment?
That's a thought-provoking question.
Right.
It highlights the fact that even the most seemingly biological aspects of our sexuality are intertwined with our cultural and social realities. It really makes you think about the complexities of human behavior.
Yeah, it really does make you think. It seems like
Yeah.
we've only scratched the surface of this topic today.
It's true.
There's so much more to explore when it comes to the evolution of human sexuality.
Human sexuality is a vast and complex landscape shaped by millions of years of evolution. And as we continue to learn more, we're bound to uncover even more fascinating insights into what makes us human.
This has been an incredible journey through the world of evolutionary biology.
It has.
From the unique baiting strategies of humans to the subtle signals our bodies send, we've seen how our evolutionary past continues to influence our present.
It's remarkable to think about how these ancient forces still shape our behaviors and relationships today.
I think one of the biggest takeaways for me is the realization that human sexuality isn't just about biology.
Yeah.
It's about the interplay between biology, culture, and individual choice.
That's an important point. We're not simply slaves to our genes. We have the capacity to make decisions, to form relationships based on more than just instinct, and to create our own unique expressions of sexuality.
And understanding our evolutionary past can actually help us make more informed choices about our present and future.
Absolutely. By acknowledging the forces that have shaped us, we can gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the grand scheme of evolution.
So for all of our listeners out there in School of Joy, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep learning. The world of human sexuality is full of wonder and complexity, and there's always something new to discover. 78